types of sports with shoot and tour. Football discussion on the internet.
So before we did this, what would have been a bigger shock to you, Gigantor, that Malik Willis was out there looking like Brett Favre for the Packers, or that Derek Carr and the fucking New Orleans Saints and Rashid Shaheed, that dude's a problem, that they would look like the greatest show on turf? Like, what would have been more likely for you?
Somehow it's Willis, because the Saints, and I on the Scott Hansen dropped a fun little factoid after their latest score. Derek Carr has not led a drive this year that hasn't scored. He's 15 for 15. Who does that? Who decides to be? Why did Derek Carr just wake up this year and decide to be the best quarterback I've ever seen?
It's so weird. I just tweeted that out right before we started too, because I just read that and I was like, that can't be true. But I actually made a note. I was watching NFL Game Day, and they were kind of just going through everything. And I think that they didn't have a draw. The first 6 possessions of that game, none of them didn't result in points. Like when they were going back and forth. Now it's a bloodletting, of course. What about? I guess the Jets' defense are complete frauds. Like, I mean, they made some plays against Levis, but that's a goddamn team that should be stepping on the neck of the Titan. I want to get to Levis, by the way. I don't know that I've ever seen a coach scream, "What the fuck are you doing?" to their starting quarterback in the first quarter of a football game, but I saw Brian Callahan do that today for Tennessee.
Yeah, I've never seen a coach that I love so much and a quarterback that I don't love as much as I don't love Will Levis so far. So at least Callahan's, you got a dude there.
Oh my God. Did you see the staff that Antonio Pierce has assembled? I'll get to all this. My head's all over the place because this shit is going on right now. Welcome to Both Types of Sports. I think we're going to call this maybe Game Day Halftime. I don't know. We got to come up with a better name for it. It's a bit that we have been doing as of late, where Tor and I get on in the middle of the games and we kind of talk about the games. Boom, bam. And I think it's a good bit, but it is information that is being processed as we are trying to do the show here. So I want to keep it all as organized as we possibly can. I think maybe, Tor, we should start locally, or what was formerly locally for you. The Commanders are taking on the New York Giants today, which is not a sexy matchup. They're winning 15-12, but I watched a good portion of the first quarter of that game. And I tweeted this out, and DC Sports Mark is an asshole because he thought that you tweeted this out because it was pro Commanders. But I don't sit around fucking rooting for that team to lose for the most part. But I love the way they came out. Started with Jaden Daniels. There was short passes, getting him into a rhythm. They were running the football with Robinson Jr. He was finishing. Zach Ertz had a big PI. There was a third down pickup to Diami Brown, and he was using his athleticism to kind of, work it the way that we hoped that he would. Or I imagine Washington fans hoped that when they was drafted, he was that big sack that he evaded. And he was, picking up first downs. Of course, he got injured later, but for a first drive to get that guy kind of invigorated into the game and disperse the football to all your weapons, come away with points. I actually like what Washington started out doing.
You just want to see that the bones are there, and it looks like it when they're in rhythm and he's got his plays and he's making the right decisions. You say, oh, this is a hell of a quarterback we got right now.
Yeah.
But he is a heart attack every single time he's crossing the line of scrimmage. What's going to happen? And it's Darwinism in the NFL, and it's nasty, unforgiving hits that you're going to take as a young quarterback, thinking that you can your body can handle it, thinking that you're fast enough, and the selection of the hits. I mean, he got crushed to the chest by Giants DBs. Crushed. He can't take them anymore. He just can't.
How much of that is on him as an adult now? I mean, he can be drafted and conscripted into the military. Like he can buy alcohol and like he's in charge of his own body. But how much of it's on Cliff Kingsbury? Like how much of it is on Dan Quinn? These are all the videos we saw of him in college getting spun around in the air, legs and arms going everywhere. His ankle's already fucked up. Those are the types of hits he has taken in the first 2 weeks of playing in the pros. Like you had an entire training camp. You had an entire preseason. Like why is this lesson But Tua never learned it, brother. I mean, Tua has never learned how to protect himself, and that's one of the things we'll probably talk about a little bit today.
I think it falls on Kingsbury before Quinn. Quinn is a player's coach, and Quinn is a guy that rallies behind juice. And Jaden Daniels, when he's running and making the good plays, he's going to gravitate towards that. Kingsbury needs to say, hey, why are you doing this? Why are you even considering doing this? Throw it away. It's week 2. No, don't throw everyone away, but use your eyes, use your brain, and don't go scrambling around. You're the future. You're the team. You are the team right now. Be the team. And the team can't continue if you're out here getting hit like a rag doll. Brian Robinson Jr. can play well, but that's only because you're a threat. It can't become a one-dimensional situation in Washington, or else it's going to crumble.
It should be a cautionary tale to everybody that the most important thing to teach your quarterback now is not how to split 5 out wide and go empty backfield inside the 10-yard line, or to read option, or the line up in the pistol. No, it should be protect yourself and protect the football. And we're seeing Will Levis has not learned how to protect the football. Tua Tagovailoa has not learned how to protect himself. Jane Daniels thus far has not learned how to protect himself. That being said, they're in this game. There was one part of it, Tor, that really made me not miss being on the radio. And every single week, and this is, your entire family's fans. You watch the Redskins /football team /Commanders, you know that other teams build their legacy off the backs of the Washington football team. Malik Neighbors, of course, is doing that today. But the first offensive touchdown of the New York Football Giants season was scored against Washington today, because that's just what happens when you follow that fucking team.
I didn't realize that Devin Singletary was the best running back to grace God's earth, but because they're playing the Commanders, he's going to look that way. He's looked faster than he had. It's the fastest he's ever looked in the league. He's hitting defenders harder than I've ever seen. And it's just a weird dynamic between the teams. Keep drafting defensive tackles, Washington. Your run defense is really good. Keep on drafting these guys high in the first round and second round. What a bunch of clowns. I can't stand that if your defense is built from the D line up, you have to stop the run. You have to get sacks. You cannot be this porous every single time the ball is being attempted to be run.
So the Eagles are playing the Falcons tonight, right? And I think most people are going to pick Philadelphia in that game, coming off, a duel in Brazil against a kind of a weird matchup against Green Bay with that injury to their quarterback. But Tor, if the Falcons fuck around and figure out a way to beat the Eagles after you're watching these two waterheads hump a doorknob in Washington and New York, and then also Dallas has now been eviscerated. It's 2 weeks in, but I don't know what to think of the division. Like, if that happens, if Philadelphia goes out there, takes care of business, beats what people think is a playoff team, it's like, okay, Philly right now is a class of the division that Dallas's defense will probably get them back into it. And I don't know what type of a fucking buzz. So, you know what? Fuck all that. We have to talk about the Saints. What is going on? Derek Carr. I mean, I would have to assume a lot of it is Rashid Shaheed. I would have to assume a lot of it is just kind of the new way they're going about. I've heard their players talk about how much different they felt this offseason and this camp felt to them. But Alvin Kamara is he have 4 touchdowns or 3 touchdowns?
4 touchdowns so far today.
4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I mean, Carr looks like a top 5 quarterback, 6 possessions, 6 scores to start that game. I don't think anybody had them punking the Dallas Cowboys today.
Dude,
what's the takeaway here from how good they are?
The Cowboys were like, oh, this is such a smart play. The Saints just went and they just beat up on the Panthers, who are the worst team I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
And the Cowboys put on a show in week 1. They look strong. They look physical. They look fast. I'm putting money on these guys, these assholes, and I'm getting crushed for it because the Saints decided to be world beaters. I've already relinquished myself that tomorrow night is going to be a disaster. Atlanta's going to be 0-3, and the Saints and the Bucs are going to be battling out at the top. I won't be able to handle it, but I can't get all depressed today. I can wait. I can save that for tomorrow night and take a midnight angry walk. But
by the way, Spider Clam doing the bit that you and I both already did. I heard he had 15 possessions this year and 15 scores. Yes, we all heard that, Spider Clam. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hit the like button, you cowards. Go ahead. Go ahead.
The Saints, though, they look sharp. They look confident. And you heard and maybe they had it perfect this whole offseason because there wasn't buzz. There wasn't excitement about them. It looks like a team that collectively put their heads down and got to work. It looks like they fleshed out a lot of the issues that they had with the timing with Derek Carr. Kamara looks fresh. I know that they added Talisa Fuanga on the offensive line, and Baldinger was really high on him. So maybe they're revamped. I hate the Saints so much. I just hate them. And I always will. So seeing them do this
You're
is
going to hate them
truly
more this
frustrating.
season. They're averaging 9.7 yards per play against the Cowboys today, Tor. And I think that's the difference. Like, if you could make explosive scoring, aggressive downfield plays in this league, it works in a couple of different ways. First of all, of course, you score quickly. But secondly, it's backbreaking. Like, it's just very difficult to build momentum if you know that the team you can play is going to put up 60-yard plus touchdowns on a semi-regular basis. And the Saints have done that. You mentioned how bad that the Panthers are, and they're bad. But when do we say Jim Harbaugh is who we thought that he was? Quentin Johnson, their first-round pick, put a toe tag on that guy up until Harbaugh gets here. He's got 2 touchdowns in the first half. Again, granted, against the Carolina Panthers. But if the Chargers just go out there and beat the teams they should beat and split with people in the division, they're going to be a playoff team this year in his first season. There's no reason to believe it's not going to happen right now.
Coach of the Year candidate already. It looks like such a different team. It looks like classic Chargers running the hell out of the rock. J.K. Dobbins looks like a brand new player, which is great. I like J.K. Dobbins. I like that he can't burn as safety, but he's going to get massive chunk play after chunk play. The Chargers are going to be fun in the boring way of fun this year, where it's not going to be big explosions, but they're just playing good, clean football. And that's what it looks like they're doing. That's all they ever needed to do. They've always been talented. They still get stars on the team. Just play regular football and you'll be good. And Harbaugh, king of playing regular football. So it makes perfect sense.
Johnson's got the 2 touchdowns, 4 catches. J.K. Dobbins, though, his coming out party today, towards 17 carries, 130 yards, and a score. We knew that one of those backs was going to emerge. Looks like it's him. And Justin Herbert, look, he's on pace to throw 4 touchdowns in this game for 250 yards. Like, I think maybe for a while, the era of him throwing up the cartoonish numbers and you go ahead and say, well, I've got him starting on my fantasy league. That's good for 26 points. That might be done. But also, so are the 6-10, 6-11 seasons where you just can't understand why they're not making more out of all the talent they have around him.
I know he's getting a little dinged up in this game. I would yank him right now. He doesn't need to finish it. That would be such a Chargers move to leave Justin Herbert in just to get more injured. So I would pull him, put in the backup, and just coast this one out. I know you want to keep on seeing the team play, but protect yourselves from doing more Chargers dumbness.
More Chargers dumbness, friendos. I always caution against it. Speaking of more Chargers dumbness, let's talk about more Titans dumbness, because there certainly has been some Titans dumbness. I don't want to go ahead and spend an enormous amount of the show talking about them, although this is an interesting week, Tour, because for the Jets, this is an incredibly pivotal game. And Tennessee turned in a decent performance defensively against the Bears, had that game. Will Levis pissed it down the leg. This is the coach walking out onto the field to scream, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" at his starting quarterback. I've seen enough, Tor. I don't know if you saw the play that precipitated this. I've never seen a quarterback do something as stupid as Will Levis, whose legs are literally up in the air like a turkey wishbone, shitting the football out into a fumble when they're in the red zone. Why hasn't this team signed Ryan Tannehill? Why haven't the Miami Dolphins signed Ryan? Why is Ryan Tannehill still available in this league when quarterbacking this play of this magnitude is in existence?
He's too hyper. I saw Charles McDonald tweeted this out today. He said, I think Will Levis would be great if he just took an edible before the game and called him this. Honestly, just cool out, man. You're doing way too much every time. And when he runs the ball, he's great and he's strong and he's fast. Sometimes he makes some big throws, but he's costly. He's costing games right now, and that's tough. It's so hard to have a rookie quarterback or a young quarterback that you want to root for. It does a lot of the things right and has the tools, but costing you games will end the fandom very quickly.
Watch this. If you haven't seen the play, because you probably would, watch how dumb this man is. Maybe dumb is not the right word. Look at this.
It's
Panicky
just,
Pete.
Caution to the wind. Just who cares? I'll make something out of nothing because everyone wants the improvisational quarterback now. Hey, Will Levis, just be the big, strong muskox. Do what Josh Allen does. I've never seen Josh Allen do this ever. I haven't seen him pitch it while falling down backwards to make it a fumble.
Also,
you can't do it.
But Mahomes takes risks like that, and I think he's polluted like an entire generation of young quarterbacks. And if Caleb Williams starts playing well, like we think that he will, maybe. But I think everyone believes that that's how you play the quarterback position out tour. We went many years where it was Mike Vick and everyone else. Like everyone didn't immediately think, "Oh, I'm Mike Vick. I'm going to go out." No, there was Achilles Smith and Tyrod Taylor. Bunch of guys like, "Oh, we're going to run around." No, you're not Mike Vick. You can't play that way. Nobody is Pat Mahomes yet. And when they try to do this insane bullshit, especially if you're Levis and you still have everything in the world, you're still proving you're a starter and that you can keep a hold of that position. It's just embarrassing to watch. And they started off with a great game plan. Pollard was getting involved. They did that. Did you see that end around to Calvin Ridley, who's going to be 30?
Yeah,
Holy
get
shit.
Ridley involved. They're doing good things. But when you have the one decision maker impairing your team, that you just cannot find success. It's not a path. Trying to be a gadget quarterback when you're not a gadget quarterback is mind-boggling.
Right.
Understand it's a low self-awareness for quarterbacks in this league, and I know they have to be ultimate competitors and ego and all that, and have the utmost confidence in themselves. But I think a lot of these guys need to take a genuine look in the mirror, assess their strengths, assess their weaknesses with themselves, because the coach is going to tell you it. Whether or not you want to hear it, that's up to you. But you need to play within yourself. Playing outside of yourself doesn't work, especially if you don't have it like that. Levis doesn't have it like that.
No. And also, look, if you have a game, the problem is I think these guys go out there with those first 20 plays scripted and they're able to keep it in their pants. Like what I was talking about with Jaden, like he goes right down the field and he's using his gifts for what you want it. And they're getting their wide receivers involved and then they're comfortable. It's almost like a fat guy on a diet where you lose 20 pounds. You're like, I'm fucking good, man. I'm thinner.
Right.
I have my health.
I got a hang of this.
You can't. You're still a fucking addict. And if you're one of these quarterbacks, like I'm gonna freak out, spaz out, and piss the ball down my leg. I've got to stick to the fucking script. It seems like that's happening to some of these guys. And in Tennessee's case, they got 2 pass catching running backs. They got 2 tight ends that can catch the ball. Like you have some kind of built-in comfort there where you don't have to make plays like this, especially in the red zone.
I don't like checking down to tight ends. I don't know why.
I hate it.
I thought that the most successful offenses that I watched growing up, the quarterbacks checked it down to the tight end. They had a safety blanket. Every play wasn't I'm going to try to make a miracle happen. Just take plus yardage. Please, dear God, take plus yardage. I've been watching Trevor Lawrence all day not do that. And he is like, I'm over him. I'm completely over him. I'm over Doug Peterson and his huge head. They are an embarrassment. The Jacksonville Jaguars are embarrassing. They did the whole renaming the stadium. How do you feel right now, Jacksonville? You paid that stiff that doesn't give a shit about the game all that money, and he just keeps on getting strip sacked. And he's the king. He is a boyfriend that continues to cheat and fixes up his act for 2 weeks and then goes get some more puss. And that's what he does. He gets away with an interception. He gets away with one, and then, oh, okay, cool. I'm going to lock in. I'm going to have a nice run. I'm going to complete some passes, show what I really can do. And then, oh, you forgot about that thing? Oh, I'm going to go right back to doing it. What a maniac Trevor Lawrence is.
He's the top. He was the highest paid player in the league for a cup of coffee. That's what you're talking about right there. Look at this Spider Clip. We do accept super chats, you chiseling bastards. $5. Thank you so much. Never thought I would want to see Tannehill back on my team, but here we are. Of course, I believe he's referring to the Miami Football Dolphins and Gigantor. That's not going on today. But there was news today about Tua, and that was the fact that it sounds like, as of right now, he's got no plans, thank you, Clamp, to retire. That report came out. If you want to read a really condescending fucking know-it-all take, you should check out what Florio wrote about this and was saying that, well, he made it with a concussed brain and blah, blah, blah. None of these guys want to stop playing football. None of them. Most of them have to get dragged cleats up off the fucking field. This should not be a surprise to anybody, Tor.
I really appreciate your stance on that, because the Friday fallout for all these people that never played football telling Tua Tagovailoa what to do, it was disgusting. It was disgusting. You're a gladiator. You know what you're signing up for when you sign that paper. I have a right arm that's never going to be able to extend again, and it's always going to be messed up. And if you told me when I started playing college football that at the end of at the end of the 4 years that this is what was going to happen, I'd still sign the papers. I've talked to plenty of players. It's what happens when you play the sport, and just because the concussion is a scary word and it has some bad things attached to it. That doesn't mean that you can just go on TV and tell a player what the hell he can or can't do with his career. It's unbelievable.
I didn't mind, like when Antonio Pierce comes out, I don't know if you saw that, Tora, but he basically came out and said, I would tell the young man to retire. There's more to life than football. When guys like that come out and they want to say, I've been there, I've made these decisions, by the way, and now I'm coaching these guys. Please to be sharing. When the Ian Rappaports and the Mike Florios and all these guys that don't know shit about shit and will never have the experiences the professional football players do, come out and want to act. And you know what it is, Tor? I think it's nerds wanting to have some sort of power over the big, scary gladiator football players. I think that's all that's motivated from.
It's nerds versus jocks, and Ryan Clark was sitting on First Take debating nerds. Ryan Clark, Mr. Concussion Giver, was debating these guys about what Tua should do, and he just said it's Tua's choice. It is. Why do you feel like you can lord over a player just because either you're fake concerned or genuinely concerned? It's none of your business.
Right.
It's not for you to be able to just free willy-nilly comment about, or at least in that fashion.
I think it's fair for us if you're watching that game, and I didn't see the play. I felt bad. I just thought Tua got hurt. So I came back and I'm like, oh, shocker. I think I had some tweet like, Mike McDaniel looks hurt and alone. Tua's injured and they're losing to a divisional opponent. Is it December? And then when you go back and you watch, and it is a different feeling, Tor, when you watch the arms going up and the fingers, and it's just awful to see. And I think if I could speak for my fellow pussies, it's very easy to put ourselves in that situation and say, well, of course you never play again. This is awful. But we wouldn't have had whatever it is you want to call it, balls, mental fortitude, physical fortitude. I mean, to compete at that level, you're made of different shit. I'm not saying they're better people, but they're better at that aspect of life. Is no one is going to beat me. I heard it. Sauce Gardner was talking to these fucking kids, and he's like, no one's going to convince me there's anyone better at me than football. People convince me they're better at everything in life than me all the fucking time. So to sit there, and Ian Rappaport's at the top of his field, but the fucking pearl clutching and the hand wringing, like, oh, this is just such a tragedy. Football players have been playing with concussions since we've had this sport. Your sensitivity to it, and of course, our knowledge of how it works now, that's what's fucking new.
Yeah, the arms, whenever the arms get flexed out like that, I do get worried. But the cold, hard truth is,
to look at.
No matter how many concussion seminars that I sat through and my team sat through over all the years, guys still withheld. They still withheld the information because they wanted to play. They didn't want to lose a roster spot. For whatever reason, they're not all reported. And they're not all reported at every single level. It's how it goes.
And it's not just concussions either. I mean, you could say this about a guy's hip, I mean, how many times you hear a guy retire that says, I want to be able to hold my grandkids? And it's like, awesome. That's your choice. And God bless you. But how come he receives zero judgment, but because it's concussions, Tua now is going to be some sort of media pariah because they're not falling in line? I think they want to destroy this league. I think that a lot of the guys that cover it hate it and they want to take it down. And concussions is a way that they've seen. They see an avenue where we're dealing with brain damage. We get the moms involved. The moms are hysterical. They won't let their kids play. I swear to fucking God, I get that vibe whenever they cover this issue in the way they're covering Tua right now.
I hate it. It feels just like it feels insidious with how it's being generated. And whatever they want this league to be, whatever their vision for the league is in 20 years is the exact opposite of what my vision would be for the league.
I agree.
Which is keep it as normal as you make it as close to early 2000s football as you possibly can. That's or 2010s football. It's a completely different game now. Stop changing it. You're not making it better. I'm not seeing changes for the better. I don't like what it's becoming in the path and the coverage and the future sight that I can have with what's going on with football. And it's not fear. And I'm not doing the fear mongering.
No.
It's not me. And I'm reacting to the
Bro,
fear mongering.
but you already know. Look, you're not as red pilled as me or as black pilled as I am, and good. Keep your heart open, keep your head open. But here's what I'm gonna tell you: you turn on every NFL show, and there's 3 women sitting around talking about the NFL with one ex-player.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at all the commercials. Like, you don't see. It's not football fans that are like, "Here, we're trying to sell these jerseys." These are not the people that buy NFL jerseys. Like, they've got a vision that is very different than what is with football, from just basically everything encompassing it right now.
It's become too big, maybe. It's become too inclusive, which is crazy to say because football is the most non-discriminatory sport when you play it.
It's the ultimate meritocracy. Football is,
and it's somehow become too inclusive to where it's becoming a problem.
Josh Kim, thank you so much for the $1.99 super chat. If Tua wants to scramble his brain, his business. Well, that's rather blunt, sir, but I mean, truthfully, it is.
Yeah.
Truthfully, it's all of our decisions. How come Tua's out there? Think about the impact Tua has doing what he does, Gigantor. He is putting asses in seats. He's selling tickets. He's keeping people employed. He's providing for his family, generational wealth. All those guys around him, he's helping them get bonuses. What's your decision to smoke cigarettes? What's your decision to drink? You're hurting yourself. You're dooming yourself for later in life. But that's treated. We see that all the time. I don't feel the need to go up and say, "Hey, you better stop that horse shit." Why do we feel the need to go up to Tua? You better stop playing that football. Why? Because there's another motivation out there as to why these guys are ringing there. I don't think they're worried about that motherfucker for 1 second.
No, I have gone far past to the conspiracy where it's nobody cares about the player health. Anything guised as player health is not. It's not what it's supposed to be.
It's weaponized, is what it is.
Yes, it doesn't feel genuine. It doesn't feel honest. I want to hear from the players. I want to hear from the coaches. I don't want to hear from anybody else. Nobody that could be making money, auxiliary money off of this sport. I don't want to hear a word from them.
I don't mind if people give their opinions, but it doesn't sound like it's just opinion. It sounds like finger wagging, and it sounds like trying to change an entire zeitgeist. Jason from Z2, Dukes talked me off the ledge regarding the Jets on Twitter last year. That ledge just keep on growing. 17-17 Jets, Titans right now. There is a little under 9 minutes left in that game. Aaron Rodgers does have 2 touchdowns, but Breece Hall is the leading receiver, Gigantor. Garrett Wilson, very quiet in this game. He has attempted passes to people other than Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, and Allen Lazard, which I suppose you're looking for here. But if you're playing this Titans team, and Tony Pollard has 41 yards, and Will Levis is a buffoon, and DeAndre Hopkins has 1 catch, and you fancy yourself, let's not say they think they're a Super Bowl contender. Let's say you fancy yourself as a wild card team. You have to beat this Titans team if the Jets think they're capable of that.
It's just a matchup that you need to win. Garrett Wilson, 5 targets, 3 catches. The chemistry is not there yet. It just is not close to being there yet with Rodgers and Wilson, and which is shocking after what we saw from camp. It looked like they were like best friends throwing the ball around. And now we're in the NFL, and I guess they're getting figured out a little bit. The Jets have some weirdness that they need to flesh out quickly because this offense should be humming. It really should be. Breece Hall is impressing me so far this year. The running back room is diverse and strong, and they have pass catchers and Aaron Rodgers. Like they should be better.
If everybody stays healthy, Tor, I would be very surprised if weeks 5, 6, and 7 we don't see this offense start humming for the Jets. It might be too late. If the Bills keep on the tear they are, and by the way, don't look now, the Patriots might be 2-0 at the beginning of the end of this week with a defense and a running game nobody wants to see. So what a fucking wacky league. Largemouth asked $20. Thank you, brother, and thank you again for Friday night. Lost it at Trevor Lawrence getting puss.
Sick of him and his stupid long hair. Throw the ball down the field, asshole.
I'm sick of him and his nose that goes from his nose up to the crown of his head. I've never seen a structure like that.
I don't
know.
Maybe he's too smart to play quarterback, where he just overanalyzes everything, and he can never just take a risk on a decision, which is crazy because he throws more picks than anybody else, and he fumbles more than anybody else, and somehow all the picks never feel like he's actually going for it.
I am surprised. Thank you, Largemouth ass. I am surprised that first season with Peterson, I don't know why. Look, Cleveland has got a vicious defense. I'm not going to judge him on this game, but I am surprised that he hasn't matured into more with a guy that's won championships, that's worked with quarterbacks. Like, he's so tall and he can scramble and he's athletic. Your boy Brian Thomas Jr., by the way, big catch, 66-yard catch in this game, though, Tor. I know you're pulling for him.
He's legit. He is a legit threat. He just needs to be fed the ball. Please, there's something with their offensive route concepts. It feels like Jaguars receivers are like never open, intermediate. Like, you'll see Christian Kirk catch a deep ball, beautiful deep ball. Every now and then they'll take the top off. But what team can't take the top off and the blind squirrel finds a nut? It's how do you work your offense from the yardage of 5 to 20 yards? That's what I wanted. That's where I start seeing separation from quarterbacks, making competent throws in tight windows. And I don't see that from Trevor Lawrence often.
What if the Buccaneers are 2-0 and they beat the Lions? I realize against the Commanders it looks different, but this is a team that has benefited, Tor, from flying under the radar since Tom Brady retired. If they hold on or are able to win that game, I think that's out the window. They're one of the best teams in the NFC, if not the league, and everybody's going to have to prepare for them differently, I guess.
These Lions-Bucks games, I think they had a crazy one last year. They're slop fests. Like, there's been so many turnovers. There's been so much weirdness in this game. But even in weird games, somebody has to win it. And the Buccaneers are like one of these teams that are built to win in messy conditions. And sure, Baker's throwing some weird picks. Goff is also.
Goff's throwing weird. Baker got sacked 3 times by Aiden Hutchinson in the first half, I think.
Yeah, last time I checked, Hutchinson has 4 sacks in the game. He's a problem.
It's a hoss.
So when there's oddities, I feel like the Bucks follow through. And the Lions are great at creating chaos. And that's where I think that they shock teams and win. But Tampa, they have some type of their depth, their winning mentality. They really learned to win under Tom Brady, and I think that rubbed off on a lot of players. And they are going to be dangerous in the hunt all year.
Looks like right now, if Baker Mayfield is leading your team in rushing, that's not where you want to live. But Chris Godwin, 7 catches, 117 yards, and the touch for them. That's a big win, no matter how messy it is, to go into that dome, go into that fucking environment, because they have one of the best home field advantages in football, and get a W.
After seeing what Detroit did last week, that a win against that team is huge. And maybe it was just such an emotional, passionate week 1 win. There was a bit of hangover. Like, I'm not going to overreact to Detroit in this game. I don't think I can, just because I really do believe in them.
I'll tell you what my overreaction was, and we'll get to your super chats. Thank you for everybody that's super chatting today. Hit the like button, you motherfuckers. When Christian McCaffrey at the beginning of, I think it was this, I don't remember if it was this morning, that we found out it's going to be 6 weeks. It looks like it's going to be 6 weeks before he's going to come back for San Francisco. I looked at that matchup with the Vikings. I said, you know what? The Vikings played well last week, but San Francisco's got that. I almost typed up a tweet, Tor, that said, it's a blessing that Christian McCaffrey is injured now, because he's going to be fresh when he comes back. And they're gearing up for the second half of the season. Jordan Mason by that time will be getting Pro Bowl votes, and they'll have only lost 1 game. I think a lot of that, for me personally, changes if they can't figure out how to get through what looks to be a very good Vikings team, because these are the moments in games like this when they would lean on McCaffrey, when they would say, all right, give the ball to this guy, throw it to him, hand it off to him, let him return punts. He's the guy that's going to pull us out of this. And they're not going to have him for longer than we thought.
Well, I think your rationale on McCaffrey isn't that off, because look what the Vikings are doing, and they got the monkey off their back with the weird injury cloud on their head with not having McCarthy. Go ahead, take the year off, pal. We're gonna have Sam Darnold lead this offense, and it's working. Just get past that injury, the speed bump, and then eventually, if your team can pull it together, keep it together, McCaffrey comes back. And look, it's the dynamic 49ers again. Purdy's been off this game, though. He's looked really shoddy. The offensive line has looked bad. Like, the Vikings defense shouldn't be getting this much pressure. They're playing above expectation in this game, and maybe the Vikings are going to be a team this season that just plays up to opponents, which would be great. It would be great for a team that I counted out to do that.
How smart do they look for realizing it doesn't matter who's behind center for us? Justin Jefferson is our best player, and we must pay him, because that's already paying dividends. I think he had 17 fantasy points in one play today earlier. Andy and Petra Schoner, 1999. Thank you so much for the super chat. There are many occupations with inherent risk, military, heavy industrial, or construction. You need to feed your family. Risk allows a higher pay for that job. And guess what pays more than all of those occupations, Andy? That would be franchise quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. That's what that would be. So when we're all fucking, again, concussions are important. You need to have all the information. But then after that, they put warnings on the side of the pack of cigarettes. You're an American citizen. If you choose to go out and spend $10 on a pack of cigarettes, that is your right. What if they were paying you $60 million to smoke the cigarettes? I love how people want to turn their nose up at other people's money and opportunities to make money. They fucking love that shit.
Oh, they can't. Yes, you're completely right. These pocket watchers, it's still a disease, and NFL players seem to be. It's just athletes are the most scrutinized. I don't know. Maybe that's just because my circle, what I'm following online. But every time a quarterback makes a bad play, hey, owner, what's the rationale? Why'd you pay this guy so much money? It's their decision eventually, and it's the quarterback's decision to go out and play football. So if they're bad decisions, they're bad decisions, but it's not the fans' decision to make.
Looks like the Jets scored a touchdown here to go up 24-17 on the Tennessee Titans. We'll see if they can hold on. 4:25 left in the quarter for that bad boy. Thank you to Andy and Petra again for the beautiful super chat. Looks like our buddy Lance has become a YouTube member. Let's get some gifted memberships going, huh? You get all the back catalog for this show, for the Chad Duke Show, for all of it. I think it's only like $4, $5 a month. So yeah, become a member. If you just enable gifted memberships, you're likely to have one gifted to you in here. People are very, very generous. They're going to put him in the bubble helmet. You can put Tua in a bubble helmet. Maybe Tua should have had that fucking stupid thing on his head from the jump. I don't care. I mean, and if nothing else, it makes a good show of it to all the people that are going to be chiding him and pearl clutching for the rest of his career. Didn't he have 0 concussions last season? He needs to learn what Jaden needs to learn. And it's the most important thing a quarterback can learn. Protect yourself. Put your oxygen mask on before you put your kid's mask on if the plane starts going down. There's a reason why we do that.
The Tua play also, it was a dumb decision that he made.
Yeah.
Leading with his head, running right into a defender, trying to get a first down. It was a bad decision from a quarterback that was just being reckless. That's being overlooked because it was a scary injury. And his arms went, straight out like a board, and his fingers are doing the finger thing. But
the finger thing.
He made a bad call in the moment. And I know it's a fast-paced game, and you're just trying to do what you can to get your team to win, but there's got to be some spatial awareness there.
Derrick Henry got a touchdown. Boy, did he have a slow start. I saw a sequence in that game, Tor. I actually wrote it down because it was negated by a penalty. But what had happened was, first of all, credit the fucking Raiders. The Raiders go out there and play hard against talented teams and better teams. I mean, the Ravens are one of the best teams in football, and Oakland has been giving them everything they want all afternoon. But Lamar was running. Mason Crosby's a monster, and he deserves everything that he gets. But he's chasing him around. Lamar's running around. He goes right, throws completely back across his body to Zay Flowers. It's an impossible throw. No one should be able to make it. It's a completion. They line right back up, and there's King Henry in the backfield. They hand him the football, and it's a sledgehammer for 9 yards. And I watched that sequence, and I said, this isn't working right now. It was negated by a penalty. Yeah. But imagine in 10 weeks, if everybody's healthy and they're more comfortable, what a pain in the ass it's going to be to defend the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay. How are we going to stop Lamar? Well, we got to spread out. How are we going to stop Henry? Well, we got to bring it in.
Yeah.
You're going to have these defenses in a blender. And if you can actually, if you can get some receivers open, that'd be great. Baltimore has a real unique opportunity to be a fun offense this year.
Well, it's not even just that. So I was thinking of it like more pragmatically about just being tired and chasing around. What is more exhausting than chasing around a quarterback? Well, trying to arm tackle a Minotaur, and they've got the best in the business for both of those things, and they can hit you with it back to back. Looks like the Commanders and the Giants have tied up. That either one of those teams would start 0-2. That's more devastating, by the way, to Washington, because the Giants, I think the die is cast for them. If they weren't playing Washington this week, they would lose. I think we're going to see that moving forward. They're not getting better, but that people were picking. Not only people were picking Washington to be a surprise team, but to contend for that division with Jaden Daniels, and we got no reason to believe he's going to be on the field this season for them.
Yeah, Singletary's still embarrassing them, and Daniel Jones is leading a non-Daniel Jones drive to go possibly win the ball game late in the fourth quarter. It just wouldn't happen to any other team. He would never play like that against Kansas City. He wouldn't play like that against Las Vegas.
You want to see something that makes me happy?
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah.
That's my guy right there. Senior defensive assistant. Now, did you spend any time with the coaches for this team when they actually were talking about them? So Marvin Lewis is on the sideline with Antonio Pierce. First, Cadillac Williams is a part of this. Scott Turner, by the way, passing it. Remember, Scott Turner was the Redskins offensive coordinator for a couple of few. Tom Coughlin is a part of this staff. Rob Ryan is a part of this staff. They've got Hardo University sitting there with the Oakland Raiders. He did a great job of assembling like a bunch of guys that have a lot of experience winning and losing games at head coach and surrounding himself with people like that.
Really good football minds. I like getting older football minds also. The new football minds irritate me because they're all dorks and nerds. I'm so sick of seeing young quarterbacks. And Vegas will be fun whenever they don't have Minshew at the quarterback. He's going to be eternally frustrating. And, he's going to do some great things and make me look like a jackass for saying that, but he doesn't do enough to make this team truly competitive, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. There was that sequence where he threw just a ghastly pick and Crosby was trying to fire him up on the sidelines, but it's just, it's week 2 and you already got to do that. Did you see Jameis got some reps for the Browns today?
Oh, I missed that. Well,
yeah,
he should.
God. Yeah, I don't know. I think if he's not getting released after this latest batch, because the problem with what's happening now for him off the field is that I guess technically it is a different crime. It's a different suit or whatever, civil suit or whatever that it was for the initial complaints. But I would think if he goes out there and sprays 3 interceptions all over the field and all of this bullshit is going on in the background, that it would be enough for the Browns to say, let's at least, this is an exclusive opportunity that has been provided to us. Let's make the change right now and move ahead, because an average quarterback should be able to get the Browns to 10 wins.
Yeah, there's no way that the Browns get out of this thing unscathed and without looking like a bunch of morons. But the quickest way to do it is to do it quick. Rip the Band-Aid off. And if you can cover your ass a little bit by just saying, well, he did it again and we can't believe it. So, we're making the right call now. Hindsight's 20/20. That's their best out. Other than that, these guys don't want to make themselves look like fools with the initial signing, but the worm has turned. Just do it. Put Jameis in. They can win 10 games with him.
I think so too. But if you thought that was going to be a possibility, do they feel stupid for letting Joe Flacco go? You'd have to assume the reason they did is because he led them to the playoffs, and they knew that the fan base would be the second that Deshaun went out there. He's not a light figure in that town. Throws an interception. They're going to be calling for Flacco. But does it really matter? Do not all fan bases call for the backup when crazy shit happens with the starting quarterback? I think that was. I have nothing against Jameis. He's a fun character to follow, but I would rather have Flacco, who I know has chemistry with my players, who I know has thrown touchdowns for my team, has led my team to the postseason, over a different backup quarterback.
I just need someone competent in that quarterback role, because I just saw them get a safety on Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, why wouldn't you throw the ball out of the end zone? Fourth quarter safety, and he's just that is such a rookie mistake. You cannot be one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league and take a safety. It is just it's a huge pet peeve. And yeah.
Well, here's a pet peeve for anyone that was on the Anthony Richardson hype train to the moon. The Colts are now 0-2. Anthony Richardson had 3 interceptions today, and they just got beat by the Malik Willis-led Green Bay Packers, who finished with 122 yards and 1 touchdown. Let's pump the brakes on Randall Cunningham too out there. But what would you do, Tor, if you knew you had to go play a damn good football team and Malik Willis was your quarterback? I think 32 carries for $151 for Josh Jacobs, despite that fumble on the goal line. I think that would probably be the penicillin to the gonorrhea that is Jordan Love going down.
It's such a Packers win, and they were gifted with a go ahead, go battle the Colts, who are still figuring things out. Staying and treading water. Your main guy that is good is down. how do you even come out of the game with a win against this Colts team? Jonathan Taylor, sick of him. Anthony Richardson, I'm glad you had a big throw in week 1, buddy. That is inexcusable to do against the Packers when you're dueling Malik Willis. I was buying beer today and I saw a guy in a Colts jersey. And I said, "Hey, you guys gonna take care of Green Bay today?" He had a brightness in his eyes. He was excited because he knew this was gonna be one of the few times they could actually beat the Packers. These suck-ass Colts. They had an opportunity, and I know that guy is just miserable. Probably punched a couple holes in his drywall today.
Did you take your depression walk to buy the beer?
Well, Atlanta's not playing today, so I had a nice peppy walk today.
Okay.
I was upbeat. I held the door open for a lady. It was a good walk.
Vikings look like they're going to hold on to beat San Francisco. Tampa Bay looks like they're going to hold on to beat Detroit. These are some big week 2 victories coming up. Some of these teams with grandiose views of themselves. Big game at 4:25. We like to come on in between, kind of break it down. You got the Bengals and you have the Kansas City Chiefs. Some of the luster gone from this one for me, Tord, just because there are so many questions about T. Higgins not playing, right? I don't think he's going to be
inactive.
Available. Jamar Chase, his bizarre offseason that he had, Joe Flacco and water bottle gate, and kind of some quizzical explanations he had for that today. I think the Bengals are a team that, despite the fact that you and I have chronicled their slow start for as long as this show has existed, but they also get up for the Chiefs. They also like competing against the Chiefs, which I don't think a lot of people do. I'm interested to see if they can summon more than they have been capable of thus far. Tyler Boyd not on that team any longer. Joe Mixon not on that team any longer. There's a lot of guys that have a lot of wars with the Chiefs that are not going to be on that field at 4:25.
This is going to be one of these games. It has the potential to make you feel like you know nothing about the sport. Because as you continue to watch, like the Chiefs are not invulnerable. It's possible for them to go out and lay an egg. We saw last year that they laid some bad eggs mid-season. And the Bengals have their number, and the Bengals treat this like a legitimate NFL rivalry. They do not like that team. The Chiefs don't like the Bengals. So there's going to be so much oddness that is possible in this. We could see Joe Burrow go out for 300, 2 touchdowns, and have them really competing with this team. And we could see Mahomes just get shut down in a weird way. But I think that happens more in December. I think the Bengals are one of these strong winter teams. And I saw a lot from Kansas City. Their offensive mix in that week 1 game was really impressive. So maybe since he gets up for this one, I'm just going to be, I'm sure, frustrated watching.
What do you think? What do you make this hot take right here? Helmet Addict, by the way, a good follow if you're on NFLX. I hate how the Commanders uniforms just look like generic Redskins uniforms. I still don't get why they couldn't keep the classic uniforms with the name change. Yeah, I'll go back, and I don't want to pile on because I know Washington fans don't like it when I do. But if you're going to change the name, but you're going to keep HTTC now, you're going to keep kind of the color scheme. Everything stays the same.
Yeah.
Raise Hale is beyond tragic. But why not just take that really offensive logo honoring that Native American off the side of your helmet and just put the W on there? Because you already had uniforms that were completely different than the rest of the league. And I can't agree more. These look like if you had a Canva subscription and you're trying to do professional photoshops and you created some NFL fucking uniforms. That's what this looks like. I think this is a spot on takedown of how the Commanders looked, even with the vaunted gold pants today.
They're gonna have to figure it out. They had maybe the best colorway in the NFL, and they bastardized it. I truly a unique, eye-popping colorway that no one else had. You're not battling. You don't have a blue that you're battling with all these other blue and white teams. You're not a green battling with all the other green teams. You're burgundy and gold. The only ones. You stick out. You stand out. When you stand out and you have an identity, even if it's something as futile as a uniform, it means something. It means something to be putting on that uniform and not a Dick's Sporting Goods jersey that you're getting for your Pee-wee soccer team.
So this is the field before the game. There's two different, look at these. There's two different spots, Tor. They said, what I read was there was a sprinkler malfunction, and that's why there's these giant I don't know, those brown spots. How would you characterize those? This is FedEx Field if you're watching live.
Overly watered, just swamps, mini swamps in the field with just catastrophes. Possible, they're injury spots. It is unprofessional.
Your quarterback got injured today. You know, you had a quarterback with skinny legs that has a tendency to twist ankles. Like, I don't know, maybe you want to make sure that you haven't fucked up the field with your broken sprinklers.
It's so easy to do. Learn what grass is best in your region. Put that in the field and cut it. Make it nice and level. Don't overdo it. And all these people, the sod father came in and gave his analysis on what we should be doing. Fuck you. Use the grass. Just put it on nice, simple grass.
Your team's not even losing yet. Would you calm the fuck down?
I can't. I'm losing every single bet. I'm taking an awful bath today.
I did want to play this for people that didn't watch this episode.
Perspective that you can give us. A lot of people don't have devastating injuries. You know, you turn your ankle mowing the lawn, or you're jogging and you tweak your.
I know we're playing a clip of our own show, but it's to an end, for God's sakes. If you didn't watch this past Thursday's episode of Both Types of Sports with Sean Salisbury, it's worth revisiting, if nothing else, just for this
sport. I think sometimes it's we make it too complicated. It's simply that they are still in the back of their brain thinking about the fact that they're hurt. They're not 100%.
Yeah, Chad, think we're going out and playing hoops. You tear an Achilles 10 months ago, and the first time we're out playing hoops on a hardwood, and you now I don't know if you can dunk. My guess is maybe the 8-foot hoop or maybe the 10-footer. Well, you got
as of last Friday, I was able to still tomahawk. Sure. Oh my God, what a freeze!
Oh, please take a screen cap of that freeze, somebody. That's one of my favorites. That might be the greatest freeze in the history of this show. Oh man, usually I leave those to Money Monk on Friday night.
Oh sure, this is a.
All right, I'll take it. I'm sure he'll be right back in. I just want that. That's going to be the cover photo for like the next 3 episodes that we do.
Oh, it has to be.
Hey, the funniest motherfucker in the world.
Spot on, shoot.
Every time I'm on with you guys, I'm worried about pissing myself fucking laughing. I'm goddamn funny sons of bitches. Indeed.
I was having a little bit of a swimming pool on the cruise ship there. What, same hats?
Oh yeah,
I'm kind of freaking me out.
What in the fuck? I'm kind of embarrassed about that. I realized, oh wait, maybe I should change things up a little bit. Hey, look, it's just me. Oh shit, I fucked it up. I was hoping it was just me, and it's not. Hold on, let me see if I can do it. Hey! Oh, I lost my graph though. No data available. Oh, what a bummer. Oh boy, gotta love the finger gun point. You sure do, Joshua C. You sure do. 2 seconds left for the. By the way, what's worse, hail yeah, or when Washington fans call their team the Manders? What's worse?
I hate that it's that commies has like picking up the life that it has. It's just it's weak. They got nothing. They got no juice.
All right, so the 4:00 game is going to kick off here. I wanted to get your take on this, Tor, because I'm not as plugged into it as you are. Okay, but let's get your thoughts, since you're a big swinging dick fucking what is that? College football analyst, correct?
I would say again, not as big as it is as you think it is. Swinging dick.
Sure. But still, the dick is swinging. The dick has cleared the balls and is moving back and forth.
Dick sitting on top of balls, college football analyst.
Okay, all right. That's a fair way to characterize it.
Tiger sit on Instagram. All right, keep talking about business. You can't fuck with me.
So that is Shedeur Sanders saying you can't fuck with me to the quarterback of the team that they just beat. And I actually found a tweet where someone said that is a huge red flag for teams potentially drafting him in the first round. Now, if you don't follow college football, that's Colorado and Colorado State, correct?
Yep.
And Dion and the coach of that team had a back and forth last year where that coach didn't like that Dion wears the hat and the glasses at the press conference.
Yeah, there was a lot of juice leading up to that game last season, and it was a huge game. I mean, it was watched by a ton of people. It was an exciting game. It was close, and it was the game that Travis Hunter got injured on the sideline from a hard hit, and people were angry at that the safety for hitting the guy or for hitting Hunter so hard. there was a lot of stuff with that game where it was all right, Instagram clicks don't matter when you're playing on the turf.
Sure.
But so there was some build up this season for an in-state, I guess, rivalry.
Yeah, so I don't know about the on Instagram part. I think that a couple of players from Colorado State had, things to say about same stuff. Like, they get a lot of clicks, they get a lot of attention, blah, blah, blah. I have two minds about this tour. One is this notion that Deion Sanders and his kid and Hunter and there's this group that travels on the private jet, and Colorado is just kind of the backdrop for it. And I don't know if I like that. But the other part is no one would ever care about this rivalry in the mainstream. And these teams are chirping, they're going back and forth. There's real animosity. Shit was said. I'm a guy, Tor, that when two MMA fighters have been talking shit about each other for 6 months promoting a fight, and then after they beat the crap out of each other, they hug, they do the thing, they work it out. I like that. But I also like it when these guys hate each other.
Yes.
So I don't know that I have a huge problem with him not pretending to be cool with a dude that they really don't get along in real life. I don't know that's a terrible thing.
I think it is within the sport of football, and it's ingrained in the sport to not like your opponents. And I think we've gone kind of a little too extreme on the, we're all just out here getting a check. Let's jersey swap, dap it up. If you don't like a player, you're well within the right to not like a player. If he talks shit about you and you win, you can talk shit back. Conversely, if you lose and you talk shit, then you're going to look like that you're setting yourself up to look a bit like a jackass, but you're well within your right to do so. It's a violent, angry sport. And as someone that was on a team that fought a lot after games because we were always losing and other teams were talking shit and having to get goon-handed by the ADs and security because, oh, God, here we go, another fight after the game because it carries over. I didn't mind it. It's part of the game. It made you feel a bit alive, like you did something that meant something. And if you win a game against Colorado State and you're having a bad year, but they were still talking trash about how you operate your business and you go out and you win, I'm not offended by it in the least. I don't see I don't see that aspect of it as a red flag. Maybe the constant Colorado promotion and then being underachieving in the first couple games, and then you have to get your get back against Colorado State. Like that looks a little bit worse, but you still got to go out and battle for 60 minutes. I'm never going to have an issue with how players are beefing during a game. I like it.
Let's see, there's a couple of tie games here. The Seahawks and the Patriots are in under 5 minutes in overtime.
Yeah.
Which is pretty well considering those are both 1-0 teams. Geno Smith has a touchdown. Jacoby Brissett has a touchdown. Antonio Gibson is leading the Patriots in rushing. Was there an injury there, Tor, that I am unaware of that took place in that game?
Uncertain. I've been watching the Seahawks drive down.
Ramondre's got 21 carries. It's just Gibson must have broken open a couple of big ones there.
Patriots are playing. They're pulling the Jets. You mentioned it in week 1. They're doing what the Jets were doing last year. I'm impressed that Gerard Mayo could get this group this up for the first 2 weeks of the season. Seattle's not a slouch. Seattle is a team that you can easily lose to, but it's also a good barometer to see, hey, can we beat Seattle? I think we could.
Well, how about if you have New England circled on your schedule as, hey, that's a win for us. Let's start game planning for fill in the blank. You better check yourself before you wreck yourself. I just came up with that. What do you think about that? Fucking puss.
I loved it that much.
Looks like they're going to overtime for the Ravens as well. Did the Commanders win?
Commanders won, and I believe Seattle just won.
Yeah, good. You got to win you got to win that Giants game if you want to just keep everybody's head sane with a not first year head coach, but your first year head coach with Cliff Kingsbury with a rookie quarterback. I wonder how dinged up Jaden is after all that. That'll be interesting to see.
A win cures a messy game like no other. Oh God, there's no feeling like it's a weird, ominous feeling. Like, oh, I don't know about that. Maybe we should have lost that one. But
yeah.
You look at the score. You look at the scoreboard and say, "We still got it done." Thank
Brian
God.
Daboll will get fired after this week.
Oh,
is it at least possible?
It should be possible.
That's
such a mess.
It sure is.
All
right, Give me your winner for Cincinnati, Kansas City. What's your score?
I will go Chiefs 38, Bengals 28.
How many Xavier Worthy touchdowns? Because I benched him.
Probably 5. He probably has 35 points on his own, and then they put in the kicker.
As soon as AJ Brown went out, I started scrambling. I was like, "Oh, Devontae Smith-Pelly got to go in. I'm gonna outthink myself and lose 2 weeks in a row. I can't fucking wait."
I think I know a lot about football, but I started Christian Watson today because I thought he was going to get involved in the run game with end arounds.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Did you overthink that?
I should have just cut him. I didn't want to start. I suck. I suck so bad. James Cook is carrying me this week. Thank God for him.
Oh boy, who's playing tonight? Is Caleb Williams playing tonight?
Bears Texans tonight.
Ooh.
Oh man, could be a fun one.
Caleb didn't look good last week, though. We know the guy on the other side of the field is going to play well, but man, nice coming out party. If we had 2 fucking young quarterbacks next 15 years in the league dueling it out tonight, that would be fantastic.
Start a little rivalry. One brief note for something that we touched on Monday.
Yeah.
Cardinals already getting Marvin Harrison Jr. involved. Catches his first touchdown just
God
right now.
Damn it. Benched him after last week and all the weirdo Kyler Murray comments. I was like, this is a disaster. I think he was my 3rd round pick. I fucking am deleting my team.
Oh,
all that shit talk, and they go out there and throw him the football immediately. Yeah, Kyler Murray, maybe you don't say it's not my call which wide receivers get the football when you're the quarterback.
He made a call to drop a fucking dime right into the bread box there. Holy hell.
What a weirdo. Kyler Murray, I said it on Thursday with Sal's. I'm saying it again today. Weirdo.
Yeah, they just gave a close-up. He's got the worst helmet in the league. It looks like a bobblehead. It gets weirder week after week. I think Ezekiel Elliott's is really bad. I hate the spaceman helmets. Those look awful. Kyler Murray's it's like a Funko Pop.
You know what? Let's table this for another episode, because I'm going to put Patrick Mahomes out there as the weirdest helmet in the league. He has got a fucking blow pop of a goddamn football helmet. And I don't know why, because he's got hair, but he doesn't have like a big afro or braids or anything.
Yeah.
This giant fucking Marvin the Martian thing coming out of the back of his head. He looks like a xenomorph. Fucking weirdo. All right, very good. Hit the like button. Go subscribe on iTunes and Spotify. And if you're really, really lucky, Tor and I will be back next Sunday, but we certainly will be back tomorrow. Both types of sports. I don't know. Halloran's coming on with us because he was at the Miami Buffalo game, and I got him a new microphone, so hopefully he sounds and looks better too. So we'll talk about all that as well. Tor, good luck to your boys. You already did your depression walk for your Schlitz malt liquor, correct?
Yep, that's right. Got my chiladas ready to go. Got a 6-pack after I destroy those. It'll be good. It'll be a good night.
How long was the walk? Was it short or was it?
Oh, I'd say it was rather long.
Hey, what do you got?
Both types of sports.
Yeah, what's it do? Go long. Real long.